This may come as a surprise to some of you, but the Jedi Order had very strict rules as to whom is and isn't allowed in their ranks. Duh. For a Padawan to advance to the rank of Jedi Knight, they must go through a series of Jedi trials. Ahsoka Tano went through her trials during the Clone Wars and left the Order when her trials were completed. Today, we're going to talk about whether Ahsoka Tano may have gone through the Jedi trials a second and even a third time, if a second chance was necessary at all even, and if she became a Jedi Knight following the falls of the Jedi Order and later the Empire. This video will be a little different than the other ones. I'm going to present the question, then offer explanations for both sides. It's up to you to decide which way you think the argument should go. That is, until the Ahsoka series comes out and hopefully we get some clarification on these matters. And like any of my theories, I don't think this is the only possibility. And it isn't my way or the highway, it's just one possibility. But for now, let's just have fun with it. Ahsoka Tano was the Padawan to Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars. Again, duh. But during her time as his Padawan, the snippy teen was accused of murder and treason by the Galactic Republic. Remember them? You know, the ones who put Palpatine in power and let him remain there? Palpatine, the Sith Lord, the one really committing treason and murder? Ironic. Anywho, Ahsoka was framed and almost put to death for it. The whole time the Jedi Council sat back and watched, popcorn in hand. They looked like they were at the premiere of Thor: Love and Thunder. They didn't really step in to take care of their own, and the only one to believe Ahsoka was innocent was her own master, Anakin Skywalker. Anakin to be seduced by the dark side and join Palpatine in his conquest. But it was also the trial of Ahsoka Tano that helped inch Anakin Skywalker into the loving arms of Papa Palpatine.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
You have a collect call from
Darth Vader.
I gotta take this. Hold on.
Anakin Skywalker ran off, found the real conspirator, and drug her ass into the courtroom to confess her sins before the almighty Tarkin, which the conspirator did do, and Ahsoka Tano was released. Once back in the Jedi Council chambers, she was told that this must have been her trial, in a figurative sense, and that she was welcome to rejoin the Order. Yeah, after they were going to let her be executed. She respectfully declined in a tearful moment with her now former master, Anakin Skywalker. I'm sure Anakin was thinking, they'll never grant me the rank of Jedi Master now.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
Oh, doggone. See? I'm sure most of you know this backstory, but there are those who haven't watched the Clone Wars or any of the animated stuff and could probably use a bit of understanding in what I'm talking about, so bear with me. The way the Jedi Council turned their backs on Ahsoka Tano made her turn her back on them and find gainful employment elsewhere. Pure at heart, Ahsoka Tano was more of a Jedi than most of the Jedi Council, except this guy. After leaving the Jedi Order, Ahsoka finds various work in the lower levels of Coruscant as a type of mechanic. She then teams up with Bo-Katan Kryze to help liberate Mandalore and the aptly named Mandalorians from the unholy rule of Maul. Yes, he's still alive at this point, for those of you who haven't watched the Clone Wars. Maul did survive. For the rest of her appearance in the Clone Wars and the Star Wars animated series Rebels, Ahsoka Tano denies being a Jedi when confronted with the question. She says it to Maul, formerly Darth Maul, and she says it to Darth Vader, formerly Anakin Skywalker. To her, it's a huge deal that they stop calling her a Jedi and she acts upon her own set of ethical and moral codes. But we see a change to this denial in her appearance in The Mandalorian. In the episode prior to Ahsoka's appearance in The Mandalorian, Din Djarin helps Bo-Katan Kryze. In return, she is to point him in the direction of a Jedi, who will be able to train Grogu as a Jedi. Din Djarin says specifically, "Where can I find a Jedi?" Bo-Katan then tells him where to find Ahsoka Tano on the planet Corvus. Before we see Ahsoka's face, we hear the magistrate tell Ahsoka, "Show yourself, Jedi." And there is no denial. There is no, "I am no Jedi." The way the magistrate spoke the words was slow and deliberate. The writers could have just had the magistrate say, "Show yourself," and leave it at that. But no, Jedi was added after a short pause, drawing attention to the word. True, this is spoken in the moment of battle, and Ahsoka is trying to make a point. Why deny something to someone of little significance, especially when she has higher goals at that moment? I'll circle back to this. But when Din Djarin is talking to Ahsoka about training Grogu as a Jedi, Ahsoka says she can't train the baby man-toddler. Not because she isn't a Jedi, but because she has seen what Grogu's attachments and feelings have done to other fully trained Jedi Knights, Anakin Skywalker. And it isn't just about training Grogu in the ways of the Force, it's about training him as a Jedi. That was the quest Din Djarin was sent on. It was the whole big deal that he was to hand the child over to ancient enemies of the Mandalorians. Jedi. Not Force users, not Force sensitives. Okay, I understand a lot of these are just little minor issues and could mean nothing at all. After all, Ahsoka left the Jedi Order as a teen. She then claimed not to be a Jedi all the way into her 30s. So she very well may not be a Jedi during The Mandalorian nor the Book of Boba Fett and the Ahsoka series. I don't want to beat a dead horse on this though. Wait, who would beat a dead horse? That's disgusting. Seriously, sounds like the makings of a serial killer. Take that, dead horse. You deserve to be beaten, stupid dead horse. Ew. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into the argument again of whether Ahsoka is a Jedi or not. I've made videos on that, and you can watch those. Instead, let's talk about how it could be seen that she completed the Jedi trials, even if unintentionally. Let's go back to her master's master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, probably the most exemplary of the Jedi Knights and Masters of his time. Following the rules of the Jedi Order like a good boy, Obi-Wan Kenobi has become so much more than an old man on shaky feet in the desert as we first see him in A New Hope. But before he was this shining example of how good Jedi follow orders, he was a Padawan himself. During the Battle of Naboo, Obi-Wan Kenobi watched as his master was cut down in front of him. Okay, stabbed down. Between the chest and the abdomen, to be specific, is where the red blade of Darth Maul's lightsaber made Obi-Wan Kenobi scream, "No!" just as Luke Skywalker had when Obi-Wan was cut down by Darth Vader. But let's get back to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Once Qui-Gon was down on the ground, Obi-Wan Kenobi leapt out and defeated Darth Maul, supposedly the first Sith Lord to have been seen by a Jedi in over 1,000 years. I don't buy that though. Ki-Adi-Mundi is a shady dude. Anyways, the result of Obi-Wan Kenobi's duel with Maul, facing adversity and prevailing, all while dealing with the emotional trauma of watching his master fall, culminated into Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi trials and his advancement to the rank of Jedi Knight. On top of which, he got his own Padawan in the form of a too old for Jedi training, Anakin Skywalker. So the fight between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi was his trial. Fast forward, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's own Padawan has a Padawan of his own, Ahsoka Tano. She was later accused of murder and conspiracy against the Republic. When she was exonerated of the charges, the Jedi Council tried playing off her trial and near execution as her own Jedi initiation. But I'm pretty sure all in attendance would agree that that's a pretty crappy way of inducting someone into a hypocritical religious order, and Ahsoka knew that. Anakin even knew it. But by the end of the Clone Wars, actually the very end of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka was dueling with whom? Yep, her master's former enemy, Maul, formerly Darth Maul. She defeated him in a true Jedi fashion. It seems to become a Jedi way that you have to be able to beat up Maul. Poor guy. So if the murder/treason trial that ended in Ahsoka's favor wasn't really the trial to become a Jedi, could her duel with Maul be seen as her Jedi trials? She won, physically, and there was plenty going on around her to distract her, but she was still victorious. Had the Jedi Council been involved, or even been invited to watch, or if Ahsoka had acknowledged she was returning to the Jedi ways, perhaps, but she told the Jedi Council, you know, the almighty council that rules everything, that she was just a citizen.
I did my duty as a citizen.
Not as a Jedi.
No, not yet.
Hold on, did you catch that? Not yet. There's still hope that she will, I guess. So she is not a Jedi at the end of the Clone Wars, but we knew this. She may not be a Jedi at all at any time. Fast forward to Star Wars Rebels. Ahsoka is defending Kanan and Ezra from Darth Vader. She knows the guy. He's her old master, Anakin Skywalker. At least he used to be. But when Vader tells Ahsoka that he's killed Anakin Skywalker, she replies,
Then I will avenge his death.
Revenge is not the Jedi way.
I am no Jedi.
Okay, so we know she does not consider herself a Jedi at the point of Star Wars Rebels, at least during this battle between her and Darth Vader. I mean, it's a long time between the Clone Wars and Rebels, so her fight with Maul at the end of Clone Wars means it was not her trial, or at least she didn't consider it that way. If she doesn't consider herself a Jedi at this point, will she ever? Maybe, maybe not. But what about her trials again? How could she be a Jedi without a council to say for sure that she is? Do we know for sure that Ahsoka never ran into Obi-Wan Kenobi just before A New Hope? What about Yoda on Dagobah? We don't know. We can assume she may have. I mean, Ezra Bridger found Obi-Wan and he was nowhere near as powerful or strong as Ahsoka in the Force. What about her trials? I mean, she survived the wrongful accusations of the Republic and being framed by that bitch Barriss Offee. That could have been her Jedi trial, as the Council suggested. But why would they offer her the Padawan decor in return for her returning to the Jedi Order if that was her trial to become a knight? Okay, what about her fight and victory against Maul? Could that have been her trial? It worked for Obi-Wan Kenobi. He beat Maul and became a Jedi. It seems you can beat up on poor Maul if you want to be a Jedi, but she denies being a Jedi even after that point. That leaves one thing, her fight with Darth Vader, her duel, Master versus Padawan. Nothing would be more trying than a situation like that. Someone who defended her during her trial during the Clone Wars, then she has to defeat him or battle him. Other than Obi-Wan being forced to kick Anakin's ass on Mustafar, yeah, that would suck too. But Ahsoka fighting Vader or Anakin Skywalker would be a Jedi trial worthy, and if victorious, she could be put into the Jedi Hall of Fame for that one. But she wasn't victorious in a physical sense. She lost the battle. In fact, if it weren't for Ezra Bridger and the World Between Worlds, Ahsoka Tano would have died by Darth Vader's blade on Malachor. She would have remained a relic on Malachor, just as the countless Jedi and Sith that remain frozen in time there. Yes, physically she lost that fight against Darth Vader. Anakin was a more powerful Jedi than Ahsoka, so it stands to reason that Darth Vader would be a more powerful than Ahsoka as well. Talk about a circle being complete. By this point, Anakin had fought with his master and his apprentice. What's next? Torture one of his kids? Cut off his son's hand? That should round things out a bit more, shouldn't it? I mean, he did choke his wife. I guess he thought she'd be into that sort of thing. I don't know. But she wasn't. Not at all. But the fact that Ahsoka lost the physical fight with Darth Vader doesn't mean she would have failed the trial altogether either. No, she could have still passed. If we look at it another way, Ahsoka had to face her former master, a man she highly respected and loved, and could have even loved him as a brother to a degree. To find that Anakin had joined the dark side and became a Sith Lord would be a hard pill for Ahsoka to swallow, and it definitely would have been a deterrence while she was battling him. Remember, she even denied and tried to fight it. To battle his new alter ego, lose, and still come out with the same moral code and bond with the light side of the Force would have been a big time pass for her trial. Which is exactly what Ahsoka Tano did. She faced him, fought him, tried to bring him back to the light side, and prepared herself to die while trying. To me, that's more Jedi than most on the Jedi Council would have done. Yoda just wanted to kill Anakin/Vader and be done with him. In that moment of fighting Darth Vader, Ahsoka does tell him, "I am no Jedi." But by directly following this confrontation, she very well could have been. And we haven't seen her deny it after this point, after this fight with Darth Vader. Not as of yet, but we could see that change possibly. But I do acknowledge that Ahsoka could very well not be a Jedi, nor would she want to be a Jedi after what the Order put her and her master through during the Clone Wars. Remember, she witnessed how they treated him. But which one of us can actually say she did not meet Anakin's son, Luke Skywalker, sometime after the fall of the Empire? Teach him a few things about what it meant to be an actual Jedi without the hypocrisy, helping Luke form a new Jedi Order based on the Force and not personal gains or political attachments. Also teaching him that involving himself in galactic politics was one of the catalysts for the downfall of the Jedi Order of old. Who's also to say that Luke Skywalker didn't help Ahsoka Tano renew her faith in what the Jedi Order could become, and together they started the new Jedi Academy. We do see her at the Academy under construction in the Book of Boba Fett. I know this is all a stretch to think these things. One of the appeals of Ahsoka Tano is she goes her own way. She isn't bound to dogma and rules. She carries the light side of the Force by choice, not by obligation. She helps others because she wants to, not because she has to. And maybe part of her gets a little pissed off that Luke Skywalker becomes a Jedi after 18 months of training, and she spent most of her younger life trying to reach that brass ring. Doubt it. Anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering, so on and so forth, and jealousy is the devil, if you believe in that sort of thing. But leave a comment below. I'd love to know what you think. If you want to just say hi, I'm down with that too. I do try to read all comments and I respond to as many as I can, unless those comments are fueled by hate. Wait, no. I'll respond, but you may not like it. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Until the next video, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way, and positivity in the Star Wars community should be the only way.